Good evening. Video here regarding the unfortunate policy or response by Google, which was not unexpected. They become, well, we'll get into that. They've uh, get an F here on politics. Any business here that gets involved in politics is going to lose. Fighting a losing battle. All you need to do is basically become the Democratic Party or Republican Party. You don't need to start up a burger business or any business and then get into politics. You can just go directly into politics without doing that. So that's extremely inefficient to do that. Basically, the intuition behind that is you can't do both. So you have the scene from the movie Diana where Naveed Andrews gets into the car, and the actor there from True Lies says, "You're dating, excuse me, the most famous woman in the world, and you're a doctor, but can you do both?" And that's basically what's going on here with these companies. Google making a lot of money, and Amazon, all these companies making money, but can they get involved in politics? The answer is no. You can't do both. Two separate things there. So you can't do both. Um, it's a concept that people know that you just can't do that. Um, so that's what we're going to be addressing here, and we'll have supporting evidence on that factor. Um, and a couple more things with that is women who engage in that sort of behavior have lower market values regardless of abortion. So no guys like, well, did she have an abortion or not? It all comes down to how many people did she sleep with. So lower market values for women for doing that, and there's nothing that Biden or anybody else can support that. You can't manipulate the market value. The market determines that. So that's all that matters there. It has nothing to do with this or that. Um, so there you go with that. Um, the second issue would probably be these athletes. I didn't read what Rapinoe said. You can't, get involved on only certain issues. So they had the racial issues. They spoke out against that, gay rights, this and that. You can't only. You haven't heard one peep out of the athletes or the NBA athletes on this issue. And that's the problem with it. If you want respect on the racial issues, you have to condemn this action as well. So you can't take both positions, um, and that's why these um, sports athletes are full of BS as well. A lot of them teen dads. You got Henry Ruggs. You have Philip Adams, who murdered two white children. So you have on the state page for one of the southern states, I believe it was Alabama, they have on there about the civil rights movement. But then on the page for South Carolina, you don't have anything on there about Philip Adams shooting two children. So that doesn't fool anybody by doing that. So you have um, basically when you do that, when you're an athlete like that and you take that position, you're veering from the middle. So it's like two people talking about a buyer and a seller of a used car. It's listed at 5,000. The person wants it for 4, and is not willing to negotiate. So when you redo your bid to 3,500, that doesn't do anything. You're getting further and further away from the market price. So that's another issue here with the market price is you're getting further from that middle, which can't be adjusted. The car's worth whatever it's worth. You can't have a $5,000 car that's really worth 5,000 and pay 2,000 for it. So you're veering from the middle again on that. Um, I myself, it looks like Facebook is getting involved in this as well. That's why I'm broadcasting here on YouTube. I'm going to be boycotting Facebook here for a little bit. I can do that. I can boycott. That's what the African Americans should be doing on racial issues. Boycott. Rosa Parks boycotting. That was a good strategy on her part. You boycott it. If they're not, employer's not paying you the right salary, you boycott. That's how you deal with that. So I'll be boycotting Facebook. Um, and the third issue is I myself did not, I would be in favor of a complete ban on demand on abortion. It serves no purpose whatsoever. Um, And especially concerning with that, and I don't think they mentioned it, but I wouldn't be surprised if you look at the data on this and you see that a lot of college age girls are in that group. I myself did not sleep with a girl in college. I've not considered myself a worthless POS, and no, and at the time, I think I did a lot of stupid stuff when I was younger. But if you kind of look back, and this is kind of fascinating on my part, because usually you don't see yourself how you're viewed by other people or what you look like, and it's kind of fascinating on my part that I got this aspect, or not the sleeping with people aspect, right, but how my behavior was at that age, that I got that absolutely correct. um I could care less what other people thought, or this or that. There was absolutely no peer pressure on me to do stuff, and that's kind of fascinating that I handled that, an A plus at that age. Um, but I think, with the younger group, there's going to be more of a push on their part to do that, and that's completely wrong. There shouldn't be any difference between a 20-year-old or a 35-year-old having that viewpoint. Um, so that was kind of the third issue, that I'm just not say one thing, do another. I actually did not do anything at that age, and so whatever these groups or liberals do on this issue, they're not going to change the fact that I didn't do that, and that's the important part here, and that's what you can't do anything about. So we're wrap it up with review our three issues here. I myself did not sleep with anybody as a teenager. The second point was kind of mostly coming from the athletes, the fact that they're only selectively condemning issues. And so you had, the Texas laws with abortion a few months ago. They were criticizing that, and then they were taking positions on racial issues. And you can't do both. You can't say, "Oh, I'm for racial issues, but I'm against the Texas abortion laws." You can't take both positions, um, because you're only viewing your viewpoint and just trying to bully, which is going to get your head knocked off in a legal manner. And the first issue was Google here, which we're mostly calling out Google for getting involved. Company wise, very, very profitable company. I believe they will face competitive attacks in the future. Rockefeller, as I say, every dog has his day. And looks like we're seeing the first cracks there in Netflix. So Google is going to get bent over someday, and it's going to be a beautiful sight. But the first issue, companies can't do both, and it would be the same if any company supported the conservative argument there. It'd be the same thing. I'm not going to defend them. Any company should stay out of politics. When I was working, I always stayed out of it. I thought that would be inappropriate to do that, and I have done that. Even when Trump won the election, I stayed out of it. So I beat you on that one, Google. Worthless POS.